Now, my next guest is lovely Tai Goodwin, and Tai's going to be talking to us about quiz marketing, and a little bit about Tai. Is what I turn my head to get myself a little bit organised. Tai has been a guest talking with the experts, and that's how we became, I guess, friends, if you want to put it that way, or acquainted, I should say it that way, perhaps. Now, Tai, I'll just bring her on. Here we go. Admit her to the room. Hey, Tai.
Hey, Rose, how are you?
I'm very well. Now, Tai is the CEO of That Marketing Team and the creator of Quiz and Grow Rich. She's an award-winning instructional designer with over 20 years experience creating learning experiences and content for Fortune 500 companies like Barnes & Noble and tech startups like Leadpages. Wow, that's kudos to you. Wow, it's amazing. What else have you been up to, Tai?
Just building a lot of quizzes for people and helping people generate leads for their business.
Terrific. So I guess, how did you start to, get into writing quizzes for people? And what are the benefits?
Well, I started when I left my last day job and I needed to generate leads because I literally walked away from my job without another job lined up. I didn't have a business on the side. I didn't even have a resume, Rose, but I knew I needed to get some clients. And so I dug back into my archives and I used a quiz to generate lead. Like I sent a quiz out to an email list of people that I hadn't talked to in about 2.5 years. Because while I was working, I couldn't reach out to people. And within 2 weeks, I had about 500 people back on my email list. And so I knew that I was onto something. And then when I was ready to expand my business, I did it again. But this time I used a Facebook ad to drive traffic. And I was able to drive about 9,000 subscribers in just 4 months to my email list.
Yeah, so I guess quizzes are good for building email lists, but what other benefits are there?
Well, there's a lot of benefits to your clients or prospects because they are getting valuable insight they didn't have before. When quizzes are done right, you're going to be telling them something that they didn't know, giving them some helpful information or insight. And as an entrepreneur, it's amazing because you actually get data. You get more than just an email address. If you're trying to do marketing, you're trying to personalize your messages, it gets really hard when all you've got is somebody's email address and nothing else. And so the fact that we have that, their email address, and we have answers to questions that we can then use to personalize the marketing, it makes it so much easier to connect with and to convert more people.
So I guess, what sort of questions do you, would you ask in a quiz?
It really depends on what your quiz is about. We've done a quiz for a doctor that was a gynecologist, and the quiz was, where did my O go? And we were talking about that O, Rose,
Yes.
Because you help women with their libido. And so your questions are going to be based on what kind of quiz you're asking or what kind of quiz you're creating, who your audience is, and what the outcomes are. So there's a whole design process into it that you have to take into consideration.
So I guess, I have long wanted to write a quiz, and I know you've sent me, a PDF on how to do that. But, what are the types of questions that you should be asking?
Well, you're going to want to ask questions that validate who the people are. That qualify them as potential clients. You're going to want to ask questions that help you segment them into different categories. So to give you an example, I was just working with a client today who writes content that helps parents talk to their kids about money. And so, she wants to make sure that the parents actually have kids that are in the age that she serves. So that's a quiz question for her. And then the other questions relate to whatever the outcomes are. But again, you want to make sure you're asking questions that are going to help you validate what their problem is, identify who those people are. Are they parents? Are they not parents? You're going to want to ask questions that help you identify and pinpoint what their pain points are and what their what their needs are, so that you can do a better job of addressing those pain points and needs in your marketing.
So how would you start the quiz off? Is it asking about, name, email address, what sorts of things would you include? What kinds of questions I understand what you're saying about, it depends on your market, what you're looking for, and all those other things. But, as a basic guide, what sort of questions?
There really isn't a basic guide. I mean, the question that you asked about your name and email address, that's what you get for the opt-in stuff, but you don't usually put that in the beginning. You're going to wait until you get you ask the other questions first, but there really isn't a basic guide. And I know there's some templates I've seen people have with these generic questions, but that's where you get a lot of those quizzes that are like the Harry Potter quizzes, like what Harry Potter character are you? Or, what color is your aura? And those quizzes are kind of fun, but those quizzes do not help people get results. And those quizzes do not help people get answers that are going to transform their lives and businesses. So there's some design elements to it when it comes to making sure you're not only choosing the right hook or title for your quiz, but that you're also asking the right questions to get those results.
So once, I guess at the end of the quiz, when they've answered all your questions, how do you work out what is the right answer to then forward on to the person who's done the quiz? Is there you've got 5 questions, they've answered, A, B, C, D, or, how do you then correlate those answers into a result? Is that what they do?
Well, that's what your quiz platform is going to do. And it's the process that you use. So we don't, and this is where a lot of people go wrong. They just ask a bunch of questions, and then they try to make it fit a result. You always want to start with the outcome first. So for example, one of the quizzes that we use is a quiz of what type of entrepreneur are you? And there were 4 outcomes to that quiz. You could either be a trailblazer, an actualizer, a guide, or a teacher, right? And so based on those outcomes, that's how you're going to have the answers lined up. So a teacher or somebody who's a trailblazer is always going to answer the questions this way. Somebody who's an actualizer, that means they like to do the hands-on stuff, they're going to answer the question this way. And so you have to get those outcomes first, and then you're able to ask questions that help people identify which category they belong to. But when you always start with your questions first, it's always going to be hard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you've got to reverse engineer the quiz.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. That makes a lot of sense. I've been going about it the other way. I've been asking the questions, and I thought, well, what outcome do I want? What's the result that they're going to get? What is the answer that they particularly looking for? But if I start the other way, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What quiz platforms are available that either low cost or don't cost a fortune?
They're getting more and more costly as quizzes become more popular, and it's been interesting to watch that happen. And there's also more quiz platforms coming on the market. But the top 3 that we recommend are Try Interact, which I'm a certified partner for that company. So Interact, Riddle, and Outgrow are the top 3, but there's so many different platforms that are out there. Even our CRM, we have a CRM that we've customized called Lead Momentum, and we've been helping people create quizzes in that platform. So if you don't want to use a bigger platform and you want something that's tied directly into your email system that you're already using, if you're using something like Lead Momentum for us, we can help people create quizzes in that platform.
And so what actually does your business help people with?
I'm sorry, repeat your question.
Yeah, what does the marketing team actually help clients do?
Yeah, you mean outside of quizzes or when it comes to quizzes?
Outside of quizzes, yeah.
Everything that we do is based on lead generation. And so we're helping our clients create a repeatable marketing systems so they can create predictable income every single month. And that looks like helping them with their marketing and their messaging, with their strategy, with their email automations, with setting up their systems, with creating funnels and quiz funnels, and then writing the email copy after so that they can convert those leads into clients.
Yeah, I think we could all use some help with those things. Lead generation is or can be a difficult thing for people to master when they don't know how. And then there's lead conversion, of course. So does your company help with lead conversion as well?
It depends on what that looks like. For sometimes, if it's email marketing and we're nurturing those people from, being on your list to becoming customers, yes, we do help with that. But if it's something else where you're trying to get sales calls booked or, you've got webinars to do and they're using that for a conversion method, we don't really do that side of it. It really depends on what your conversion strategy is.
Yeah, well, that is very true. And you help people with all of that, which is absolutely wonderful. Tai,
Yes.
please, can you, explain the process of writing a quiz? So, I mean, you sort of have, but, the step-by-step process that you would help clients do to write their quiz.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. So I know that you help people write quizzes and you have explained the process, but what exactly do you help clients do if they're going to, write quiz marketing?
If they're going to write their own quizzes?
No, if you're going to help a client write a quiz, what are the steps that you would help your clients do?
So the first thing is we help them get really clear about their marketing and their messaging so that they're actually choosing the right kind of quiz and the right kind of funnel. And then, we're going to help them choose the right technology and platform for everything. And once we've got those two things, we can actually build out their quiz for them. So it depends on where they are. We've got some people that are super tech savvy and they just want us to help design the quiz. And in that case, we're going to help them write all the copy and, for their landing pages, for their emails, for their quiz. And then they're going to go and build it. And then we've got other people that are like, well, I don't even know how to build it. And then we'll do that for them. And then we've got people that say, well, we want you to design it, build it, and we want you to launch it. And if we're launching it for them, we're going to be writing their social media posts. We're going to be doing all of their Facebook ads, and we're going to do everything we can to drive traffic to their quiz so they can get 300 leads in 30 days.
Wow, that's a lot of leads in 30 days, 300. Wow, that's amazing.
No, yeah, I mean, it really depends on strategy. If you're doing organic marketing, yes, but we've got a client right now that's an e-commerce business, and within like the first 3 weeks, she had over 450 people take her quiz.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
love it. I have to get onto this quiz marketing. So I guess after you've written the quiz, you've got people on your mailing list, what would be the next steps for an entrepreneur to go about doing?
well, what's their goal, Rose?
I guess to get more clients, to get sales conversion out of the quiz.
Well, it really goes back to they're following up with people. A lot of people don't understand. They really think that marketing is, or they think that people are going to buy the first time they see your product, or the first time they see your reel on TikTok or Facebook, or the first time they encounter this amazing post that you made. And that's simply not what happens. It takes 7 to 10. It used to take 7 to 10 touches. Now it's about 12 to 20 touches before somebody takes the next action. And so if you don't have enough follow-up in place, you're not going to have enough touches. And so traditionally, when somebody downloads a lead magnet, people will send them out a welcome email, and then I'll put them on a newsletter list. But you've got to nurture that relationship. You've got to nurture that conversation. We like to call it a virtual dialogue. So Rose, imagine you and I met at a networking event, right? You might say, oh, I want to have coffee with you. And we'd sit down and we'd have coffee and maybe we talk for 45 minutes. Well, we're not going to send a 45-minute email, but it would look like sending emails back and forth that would comprise that same kind of conversation you would have with somebody if you had met them at a networking event and you were having coffee. So it's a virtual dialogue that's going to get that person to take the next step with you.
Okay, that makes heaps of sense. I guess, I sign up for quizzes or I sign up for other things, and then I get this huge email sequence, which half of them I don't read anyway, because a lot of people don't read emails. So how do we get people to actually engage with them?
Well, when you say a lot of people don't read emails, where does that come from? Because I hear people say that all the time, but that's actually not true. Email marketing is still the number one way that small businesses get new clients and keep their existing client base. It's more, the return on investment for email marketing is $44. So for every $1 you spend, you get $44 back when it comes to email marketing. So, and people don't always have to read all of the emails. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, what we do is we sign up for a whole bunch of stuff, right? We sign up for everything. And so we're the ones that, we've got all these emails and everything, and we don't read them. And we think other people are like us. My ex-husband, he would get one email and he would delete it out of his box. Right. He would be getting an email from Best Buy. He would read it, delete it. He would get an email from this other store. So most people don't have a bunch of emails in their inbox. Right. And the second thing is this, and there's a little bit of psychology connected to this. We know that you're not going to read all those emails. We know it. We don't care that you read them all. What we do care about is that when you are ready to make your buy decision, you have seen our name in your inbox so much that there's no other person that you're going to talk to except for us.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I'm always thinking, headlines are the number one thing that get you to click open that email. And but you're right. If you see a name often enough, you'll think, yeah, they're the person to be able to trust, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, what makes a good email marketing sequence, Tai?
The fact that you've personalized it and customized it, which is why, ties back into why quizzes are so important. It's not sending everybody the same email because everybody on your list is not the same. They didn't all join your list for the same reason. They're not all in the same phase or same stage of the buying cycle. And so you've got to segment your email list. And then make sure you're sending the right content and the right offers to the right people at the right time, which is why we love quizzes for that segmentation element. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is you've got to be really good at writing copy. I know there are a lot of people who are like going goo goo gaga over Chat GPT, but you can still be using Chat GPT and have sucky emails because you don't know how to write copy and you're not really connected to your audience and your messaging is off. So those are the things that have got to be in place if you're going to do a good job with your email copy. And one more thing, Rose, is that you've got to pay attention to the data. Like we've got somebody that went through our program. She did an amazing job with her quiz. She was seeing a 40% conversion rate, but people weren't opening the emails. No, actually, let me back up. People were opening the emails, but they weren't clicking onto her sales page to buy. And so the problem isn't the email. She was getting like 50% open rates on her emails. And just so your audience knows, the average open rate across all industries is about 22%. So she's getting double the average of open rates, 25% click rates. Now, here's something you need to know about click rates. The average click rate for emails is about 2.8%. She's getting 10%, 20% people clicking through, but they're going to that page and they're not buying from that page. So if you weren't paying attention to the data, you would come back and think, oh, my quiz isn't working. No, it's not the quiz. It's not the emails. It's your sales page. So now we got to fix that.
Yeah, really important, I think, to use the language that potential clients are using that, gets them to convert into buyers.
Yeah.
Rather than absolutely. Just tire kickers. Yeah. I guess, moving on from email marketing, because a lot of us are, are quite good at it, and some aren't. Where can we go? I mean, other than so if you want to do it, go to the marketing team and speak with Tai for a start. Get her to do your email marketing for you and your quiz funnels. And Yeah, so I guess quizzes are good for getting people into the top of your funnel, basically, aren't they?
They are, absolutely. And I mean, and it's not just your top of the funnel. I mean, we've got an offer right now, and I'm glad to share with your audience. If they go to
Please do.
quizandgrowrich.com/quiz ideas, we've got a list of 151 quiz ideas, right? That they can, grab that list. And one of the emails in the follow-up sequence that we give them is actually taking a quiz to figure out which quiz is the right quiz for them. So we don't always use it at the beginning of the funnel. Sometimes we use it in the middle. And sometimes we use quizzes after clients sign on with us to help us diagnose what the problems are we're going to work on with their marketing and in their business.
Yeah, there is a lot of benefits to using quizzes, and which I hadn't realized. So yeah, I think we should, as entrepreneurs and business owners, maybe take them a little bit more seriously rather than treating them like something that's a bit fun to do. Tai, where can people find you if they want to work with you or find out a bit more about what you can offer them?
I'm on everywhere on social media at Tai Goodwin. So whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok, you can find me at Tai Goodwin. And if they're looking for some quiz ideas for their own, they can go to quizandgrowrich.com/quiz ideas.
Perfect. And if you were to offer some wisdom, what would you share?
That people can learn how to market. I hear people struggle and say, oh, I'm not a good marketer, I'm not a good sales. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you've decided to be an entrepreneur, then you have to own the fact that you can learn how to market and you can learn how to sell. So even if you don't think it's your natural gift, you can learn to do it. And it's your responsibility to do that. If you decide to be an entrepreneur, you've got to learn how to market and you've got to learn how to sell. There's no other way.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. And I mean, I don't consider myself to be a great marketer. I don't like the sales calls afterwards. It's not my cup of tea. However, I think there's something that we have to get comfortable with and learn how to do them, because they're all part of the marketing process. Tai, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I look forward to talking with you again very soon.
It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. And I look forward to connecting with folks who want to help, who want to generate leads with quizzes.
Wonderful. Bye-bye for now. Yeah, good on you. Well, that was the lovely Tai Goodwin and talking about quiz marketing. And and she's full of great information. And if you want to follow up with learning how to do quiz marketing, then she is the person to go and get in connection with. And you can find all the details here in the Facebook group under the media tab, and just find her picture and click on the details, and all of her links are there for you to use, and bonus gifts and so forth are in the same place. Now we're going to